Okay, guys. So I told you that I would come on tonight to talk about psychological projection and how to recognize it, how to work on that within yourself, a part of self-development, self-awareness. So, they say that when you hate something about someone else, it's actually what you don't like about your own self. We're like a mirror image of one another. Psychological projection is a defense mechanism that occurs when a conflict arises between your unconscious feelings and your conscious beliefs. And in order to subdue the conflict, you attribute those feelings to someone else or something else. In other words, you transfer the ownership of those feelings onto an external source. Many people project their insecurities, and it might be one of the most awful human traits that we may have. We possess this uncanny ability to identify and detest our own flaws in others. We dislike people who possess the traits that we envy, and we dislike people who possess traits that we are insecure of ourselves. We trick ourselves into believing that those undesirable qualities actually belong elsewhere when they're actually a part of ourselves. Freud had actually theorized that it was a way for our minds to deal with aspects of our character that we consider flawed. Like highly opinionated people will really detest other highly opinionated people, or quiet people will sometimes have something to say about other quiet people, like accusing them of being reserved or standoffish, seeming standoffish. Some of the examples of projection are insecurity and vulnerability. We feel insecure about some aspect of ourselves. It could be such as body image disturbance. But we seek out ways to identify that insecurity in other people. This is often the case. We find this with bullying behavior, and in kids, they're insecure about things on their own, but they transfer that insecurity onto other children. It's a way to avoid dealing with the feelings that they actually have inside about themselves. So we've got insecurity and vulnerability. There is also irresponsible behavior. People who possess irresponsible, or not always possess irresponsible behavior, but do irresponsible things at times, will having too many drinks, or taking unnecessary risks with their safety, or being reckless with their money. To avoid the feelings of remorse associated with it, they will project that irresponsibility onto other people and criticize others for their actions. Another example of projection would be with failure, and I was prone to doing this for a long time. When we perceive ourselves to have failed, it's very common for us to push others to succeed hard. You see this a lot with people would say with pageant moms, or with soccer dads, or with people who are pushing their children to do things that they kind of missed the boat at. Again, that's a transference of those insecurities or those failures onto your children or onto someone else. Then we've got the body image disturbance. And this one is one that hits home for me because I had my big aha moment about a month ago. So with body image issues, we're insecure about our own body image. It might be weight. It might be an issue that we have, that one of our arms is shorter than the other, or one of our legs is shorter. There's something that we are insecure about on our own, but we transfer that onto others. People that are overweight might criticize their friends that go to the gym and accuse them of being gym rats or doing too much. Conversely, people who are overweight, and this is where I had identified, could criticize others in their family that are overweight. So my big aha moment last month was after I had started my health journey and I think I had lost about 35 pounds at this point. I couldn't figure out why I had so much Zen in my life, but the one thing that triggered me the most was my mom and discussing her weight and her weight issues. And it dawned on me that all the times that I was yelling at her to get up and do something, or get up and get healthy, I was actually yelling at myself too. That was my inner voice, like the thing that I was bothered most by about myself. I was screaming at her to take care of it, but it was me that needed to take care of it for myself. So psychological projection, it starts in early childhood. It starts by us psychically cutting off parts of ourselves that we don't like or don't want to identify with. And we strive to become normal in a sense. I put the air quotes normal. But when we can't really cut off part of ourselves, but that part of us that we want to disassociate with becomes like our shadow side. Anything that we no longer want to identify with, that we push that aside. We can't actually cut that off, but it becomes our shadow part. So moving away from projection, like moving into a space of recognizing, because all of us do this. I don't care how awakened you are or how advanced you are in your self-development, it still becomes an issue that people project things. So the first thing that you want to do is recognize it. So when you see that there is something in someone else that triggers you, that is the first sign right there to recognize it within you that it is projection. As soon as you recognize, then you want to look within. Like, what is it about that person that is triggering that emotion within me? Because it's really something within you that you need to work on. We are all mirrors of one another. So say you work with someone and you talk about that person because you think that person is too bossy. We're just using this for example. You want to recognize that person irritates you or that person gets under your skin. Take that emotion and start looking within. What is it about yourself that could be perceived as bossy, or something within yourself that you are not happy with, or something in yourself that you wish to be that you haven't attained? Just always turn within. Some strategies for success to move away from projection. Again, like I said, to look inward. Calm yourself. Calm yourself if something or someone is truly triggering you and irritating you. Focus on your breathing to stop all the word chatter in your head. Notice your body. Start with your toes. Move up through your ankles. Move up to your legs. Just notice. My feet are planted on the floor. My ankles, I can feel them. I feel the calves. My calves, I feel my knees. Just take notice of your body. Then get real. Get real with yourself about what it is that you're projecting. The biggest thing for me that helped me to stop projecting is to trade places with that person. Actually envision that person in your life and you in their life. You never know someone's story, and we all have stories. So just mentally trade places with them and try and walk a mile in their shoes before you judge. That's all that I have tonight for projection. Thank you all that are still tuned in, Barb and Kim and Steven. Hey, that was my sister's tuned in. Happy birthday, belated birthday 2 days ago. You guys have a wonderful, beautiful evening. I hope that you all can look within after this, find something that you are projecting, turn within, look within, and perhaps be able to work on some self-development. Have a great night, guys. Bye-bye.